Hello, my name is STQ. I'm continuing on with my D&D solo campaign adventure project. I'm using what I refer to as the 1980s Red Book rules. Oh, now this is really getting ticked off. No. Okay. No. I'm not gonna have you destroy everything. Okay, so let's see here. She kind of destroyed that, which is okay because I destroyed this yesterday by having it underneath there. So I'm replacing this in this video, and I am redoing this in this video. There are other data charts that need to be redone. I may not do those. I'm going to do. There's some other. I did some game concepts with the vampire, and so I'm going to create some new data sheets. So where is my clipboard? Right there. Oh, this is my Ironclads and Ether Fires folder. That's based on the Ironclads Ether Fires video series that I've done. What I need to do with that is I need to make a map. I need to get a hex map made, and then make some models of the ships to on the hex map. So this game's kind of paused. Basically dead in the water. So that's what that is. So yeah, I'm going to need a new folder for this campaign. There's a lot going on here. Okay, let's do that. Orc Army and MICROBRIAL. Yeah, there's let's see here. This is one of my original paperworks that I'm keeping. Let's see here. Game and campaign parameters. And what I'm doing with the campaign, and then this is the game world parameters. So that's one set of paperwork. Okay, yeah, so, and then another set of paperwork is hit dice under 1 basic, hit dice under 1 expert, hit dice 1 basic, hit dice 1 expert, hit dice plus 1 basic, hit dice 1 plus expert. That's another set of paperwork. Then you have the microbial monster list. Then you got the life form monster lists. Microbial, freshwater, saltwater, worm and crawlers, insectoids. As you can see, some of these need to be modified, fixed. Land reptiles, land mammals, winged monsters, humanoid monsters, human monsters, undead monsters. There's an undead monster list here. and then magical monsters. Yeah, I was using this for the vampire bats and vampire. And so, and then I have, so this is, okay. So these monster lists is another section of data. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I have part of the original paperwork. Was I made a nocturnal monster list, and then from there I made a monster list, and from there I made an additional monster list, and from the additional monster list I expanded the this monster list. So you have basic, and then it ends, and Ragadessa. Then I added additional monsters, which and I did not and it ended with a vampire. And so I have these. So this has been modified for the part of the new monster. So this is the obsolete data sheet. This is, but these are going to be replaced. These are this is actually more obsolete than anything else, but this is in reference to these guys, so I'm keeping it for the time being. But the data on this sheet and on these are being transferred to my new data sheets. And then here's my, and then the ARC Army list, which was direct, is being kept, but it's, I have some data is wrong on it. So I'm going to revise this, and it's going to be part of my new data. So this particular piece of paper is going to go bye-bye, but I'm replacing it with a new format for the new monster list. But it's basically the same. This is going to go bye-bye. Actually, I'm going to keep this for the time being because this is an example environmental random encounters chart. So I'm going to be creating a new chart for that, new paperwork for this chart. I'm going to be keeping these until they're no longer useful for reference. Instead of cracking open the book, reading through these, I'm using this because this data is basically has the terrain that the monsters are encountered, and they have data associated with monster associations, how they interact with monsters, what monsters are associated with them. For example, robber flies eat killer bees, so the robber flies would have a killer bee list, and so the monster list for robber fly would include killer bees, robber flies, and I think it's the giant ferret that eats insects. There's a monster that eats robber flies. So those three creatures are in one would be in the environmental system. Oops, that's the kiosk place. So there would be an environmental system for the killer bees, the robber flies, and I think the giant weasel. There was another creature. So they would be all part of this new system that I'm going to be creating. So Okay, let's get to work. So yeah, there's 5 sections basically of paperwork here. My paperwork is in 5 different sections. Okay, list. Okay. Dungeons & Dragons RPG, Red Book Rules. Copyright 1980. Now, there is a set known as BECMI, which is Basic, Expert, Companion, Masters, Immortal. The box that I have, the 1983, 86, 87 publications. I do have the BECMI set, the new BECMI set, but this is the 1980 was also a BECMI set. So you had 1, 2, Companion would be 3, Masters would be 4, and Immortals would be 5. So this was a box set also, the 1980 version of the Red Book Rules. But so the 1980 basic set has this graphic. The BECMI set has a different graphic. Also, the base module, they don't have this module. BECMI changed the format, the gameplay experience format to a more modern day, where you have you have a quick play example of the rules. So you actually engage. While you're learning the game system, you do a game. There is an example module, adventures module that you're going through while they're explaining the rules. That's what the new BECMI version does. This is the 1980. Now this particular book is a copyright 1981, but the original version I had was copyright 1980. I got it in June of 1980. I missed Gen Con by 1 to 3 days. I'm a 3rd generation Wisconsinite. I'm a 3rd generation Kenoshan. And my grandmother took my brother and I to Lake Geneva because she was talking about the Renaissance Festival in Lake Geneva. And Gen Con was going on at the same time. So I don't you had some RPGers I don't know if LARPing was a thing back then. LARPing and Renaissance festivals are two different things. Um, so, let's see here. But yeah, Gen Con is basically back then was a tabletop miniatures war game system, tabletop war game like Tactics, Tactics 2, B-17 Fortress, Axis and Allies. Um, wait. Yeah, there's an Axis and Allies tabletop war game. Risk would kind of is not there, but Risk type board games. Um, but with more details. So you have, you got the Germany, and so you have those board games, tabletop miniature board games. Then you have the miniatures board games, which you have actual Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40,000 are examples. Cities and Chainmail, which the Dungeons and Dragons is derived from, is a miniatures tabletop war game system. So, yeah. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons, basic rules. Not that one. Not that one. This one. Wrong one. Right one. Orc. Army. Chaotic. Leader. I'll probably should put leaders S on there. Yeah, let's do that. Leaders. Because what you're doing here with this chart is what I'm doing is I'm making a list of chaotic monsters. The purpose of this is to list the chaotic monsters that would act as a leader for an orc party group or for an orc tribe. So that's what this data. And some of the data is wrong, especially on the leadership here. So instead of erasing, I'm just going to, because this chart is wrong, I got to remove somebody here. So just so the orc tribe data. Orc tribe leadership. I should do this. Okay, you have a group leader. And go into the orcs. Okay, so you got, let's let you look at the text. So in here it says, okay, they're nocturnal, that's not what I'm looking for. Orc leaders gain their position by fighting and defeating or killing the others. One member of any group of orcs will be a leader with 8 hit points who gains a bonus of +1 damage rolls. If this leader is killed, the morale of the group becomes 6 instead of 8. So, with when your number appearing in a dungeon, you got 2 to 8 orcs at level 1. You see 2 to 8 orcs. Out of this group, of this 2 to 8 group, 1 orc is going to be at 8 hit points and does +1 damage. Now let's see what the parentheses, what they say about the parentheses. Number appearing. The number appearing gives the suggested number of that monster type, which will appear when encountered on the same level as that monster's hit dice or monster level. Example: a monster has 3 + 1 hit dice, and a number appearing is 1 to 6. Then 1 to 6 monsters of these monsters will be commonly encountered on a 3rd level dungeon. When the same monster is met on levels greater than the monsters of more monsters should be encountered, or when encountered on levels less than the monsters of fewer monsters should be found. The exact number is left to the Dungeon Master's choice. Example: if a 3 + 1 hit dice monster mentioned above are encountered on a 1st level dungeon, only 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 might be encountered. On a 5th level, 2 to 12 or 2 to 16 monsters might be encountered. The numbers given in the parentheses are the number appearing is suggested number if any of that monster which might be met in the monster's lair or home or in the wilderness, and will be useful information for use with the D&D expert rules. Monster lairs in wilderness will usually be 5 times the number normally met in dungeons. A 0 given as a number appearing means the monster will not usually be encountered in a dungeon or wilderness for the 0 in the parentheses. So some monsters will not be encountered in dungeons, will not normally be encountered in dungeons, and some monsters will not normally be encountered. Okay, let's repeat the process. Some monsters will not be encountered in dungeons, but will be encountered in wilderness. So they have 0 dungeon encounters, number appearing, but a number for wilderness. Some monsters will appear in dungeons, but will not appear in the wilderness. Therefore, they will have a number for dungeon population, but a 0 for wilderness population. 0 does not. Dungeon Master could make a special case exception for the rules for a non-existent monster that's not found in dungeons to be in a dungeon, and a monster that is not found in wilderness to be in the wilderness. For every rule, there's an exception. So that would be like a special case adventure storyline. The monster got trapped, is transferred, summoned, or whatever. There could be a special scenario in which the monster is not in its normal environment. Okay, so the parentheses. So the okay. So for the group leader, it's plus, that's not a plus sign, that's a bullet point. Okay. Group leader has 8 HPs and does +1 damage. Now this group leader would be in a dungeon encounter, would include 2 to 8 orcs. And in wilderness, you're going to have 10 to 60 orcs, with one being 8+. Okay, let's see here. Yes. And then that'll be the 10 to 6 would 10 to 60 would be the normal party that would be encountered in the wilderness. That would not be the lair. Now this would be a dungeon lair. A wilderness lair would be ×5. So if you have a wilderness orc lair, it'll be 50 to 110 monsters, orcs. This is orc leaders gain their positions. Orcs may often be hired as low-cost soldiers and are often used for armies by chaotic leaders, both humans and monsters. And I made, that's what this is. I made a list of what monsters would use orcs for as armies, or for grunts. Cannon fodder. Cannons don't exist in this game. But they do exist in Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer 40,000. Okay, there are many different tribes of orcs. Members of different tribes are not usually friendly towards each other and will start fighting unless their leaders are present. So if you have like 2 or 3 orc parties from different tribes, they'll be in one area. They're going to be fighting each other unless the leader, the group leader, is present. May or may not. The group leader may allow the fight to continue. It depends on what's going on, and the dungeon master can say what the deal is on that. An orc lair has only one tribe. So, each tribe will have as many females as males, and 2 children, or whelps, for each 2 adults. The leader of an orc tribe is a chieftain who has 15 hit points and attacks as a 4 hit dice monster, and gains +2 damage on damage rolls. For every 20 orcs in a tribe, there may be an ogre with them. 1 in 6 chance. If D&D expert rules are used, and they are being used, there is a 1 in 10 chance of a troll living in the lair as well. So let's see here. Okay, it says here, orcs have bad tempers and do not like other living things. They will often kill something for their amusement. Orcs are afraid of anything which looks bigger, which looks larger and stronger than they are, but may be forced to fight by their leaders. So, and a group of orcs, so you have a party of orcs, 2 to 8, could be hired out as a group, by a monster that is bigger than them, which is an HD 1 plus monster. So let's see here. Then you have a tribe chieftain. Okay. So and then okay, so for there's a group leader, which is the party, and then you have a tribe chieftain. Okay, that's a bullet point. He has 15 hit points. Fights as it's considered an HD4. And has +2 damage. So that's the orc tribe leadership. You got orc leader. In any group of leaders, orcs, you're going to have one who is the leader with 8 HPs. So all the others are going to be 7 or less HPs. But it's still going to be a 1 HD monster. I should. So then we go with chaotic leader hit dice. So for group leadership, which is basically anything with higher than 1 hit dice, which is HD +1. HD 1 plus, actually. Let's do that. And then for tribe leadership, the tribe leadership would mean that the chaotic leader commands the orc chieftain, and the orc chieftain has his tribe follow the command of the chaotic leader. which is HD4 plus. And as you see on here, on the original data sheet, I have HD1 plus for the orc group, and I have HD5 for the tribe. So that's for the orc group. I have a 4+1, which is an ogre. But with this new sheet, that ogre is going to be down in the orc tribe leadership. So that is why I need to make a change to this data sheet. And okay. Well, I'm redoing the data sheet. Let's see here. Okay, that orc group leadership list, like orc group leader list. Okay. So any monster that is chaotic will be leading the group. So I do have the Begin Man down here as an orc leader group, group leadership. So this, I'm going to verify that a little bit here. Let's see how that looks. Men. Okay. Brigands are chaotic. Pirates are chaotic. Ooh. I messed up. So yeah, I have to, yeah, there's a major, I probably need to go through the basic rules and to look for chaotic monsters again. But right now I'm just gonna go through just go through here. Okay, let's see here. Brigands are loosely organized outlaws and okay, hold on. Men. The general category, most groups of men will be led by additional higher level leaders with better armor, hit points, saving throws, and possibly magic items. Furthermore, men usually have large camps. The treasure will usually be at the camp. Brigand. Brigands are loosely organized outlaws and renegade mercenaries who live by raiding towns and robbing caravans and travelers. For every 20 brigands, let's see, brigand encounter number appearing in dungeons, 0 wilderness encounters, 10 to 40 wilderness lairs would be times 5, so that would be 50 to 200 and a lair. For every 20 brigands, there will be an additional second level fighter who acts as their leader. For every 40 brigands, there will be an additional 4th level fighter acting as commander of the entire group. So so yeah, there is you're gonna have brigand leadership of level 2. So you say you have a 40 group, a brigand group, or then there be 2 groups of brigands, one with each being led by a second level fighter, and then for the entire 40 brigand group, you have a 4th level fighter. Or you can say there's a 30 group, you got a 30 brigand group. One group is of 20, another group is 10, and then the overall, or you know, or you can say, okay, so you got less than 40, you can die roll that to determine how many, each group is an equal number. So you say 30, so you roll a d10 and a d6, 0, 9, d10, and 1d6, and you got a number between 1 and 15. So, okay, so you got a group of 30, you got now 2 groups of 15 that, or maybe one group has 20, or, maybe not 20, but maybe 18, another has 12, you could do or maybe there are multiple groups. Instead of 2 groups, you may have, so you roll 1d20, and so you got one group that's 18, another group that's 10, and so you got a third group that's 2, for example. There are a lot of ways you could go about doing that. Some brigands, 50%, will have leather armor, shields, and short-bone. The rest will be mounted on riding horses. 50% will be mounted on riding horses. And will be wearing chainmail, shield, and carry swords. The leaders will wear plate mail, carry swords and lances, and ride barded war horses. The DN may have a party meet on foot, may have a party meet all on foot or all mounted, if desired. So instead of being 50-50, it's all, everybody is 100% foot pounders or 100% horseback riders. Brigades were often band together to make a fortified camps of 50 to 300 men. A camp will always be led by a 9th level fighter, with an additional 5th level fighter for every 50 brigands. There is also a 50% chance that a magic user of 9th to 11th level, okay, we're in this game, a 9th, anything above name level, which is 9th level, is non-existent. So there's no 10th or 11th level wizard magic users. There'll be a magic user, 9th level magic user, and the camp. There's a 30% chance that an 8th level cleric would be in the camp. So you do have brigands for the orc group, which would be led by a 2nd level fighter. There's a 4th level fighter, and for the brigand group, okay, this is a bit more complicated than what I planned it on it being. Okay, for group leadership, which is so for every 20 brigands, you have a level 2 fighter, so he would be part of the group. For every, you have a level 4 brigand. Oh, okay, level. I thought it was parentheses. Level 4 for every 40 brigand. Okay, brigand camp is a 9th level fighter. Okay, I'm not going to do the camp numbers. A brigand 5th level for every 50 level. Okay. The brigand camp. Yeah, the camp will have a level 5 for every 50 brigands. There is also a 50% of magic users and clerics. Okay. But they're not the leaders. Okay. Pirates. Ocean-going orcs. Okay, buccaneers are found on seas, rivers, lakes, and occasionally oceans. They live by raiding coastal towns, capturing ships, and sell their booty elsewhere. Pirates. So buccaneers are neutral, pirates are chaotic. So pirates are seagoing men who plunder other vessels, raid coastal towns, and engage in illegal slave trades. They are noted for their evil acts and cruelty towards prisoners. They will also freely attack each other if there is a chance for profit. Okay, they meaning pirates. I wonder if that would apply to Buccaneers. Buccaneers are neutral, so they went out for your track. No, okay, that's chaotic behavior. That's not neutral behavior. Okay, the number of Buccaneers or pirates that will appear depending on the type and number of ships they are sailing. Okay. The DM should choose the most appropriate type of ship for the terrain. Okay, we're doing not that. For every 30 Buccaneers, there would be a 4th level fighter. Okay, so for every 30 pirates, there would be led by a 4th level fighter. For every 50 pirates or ship, there would be a 5th level fighter. I'm going to do this twice. Per ship. For every 100 pirates or fleet, there would be an 8th level fighter. Again, I'm going to do the Tezis. $100 less pirates. Per fleet. For every fleet or 300 or more pirates, there might be a 11th level fighter. Okay. Pirate Lord. Okay, we're going to do that. Level fighter. Nothing goes above level 9, so it's a 9th level fighter. 300 plus pirates. Pirate Lord, level 9. Per fleet. Now, what you can do here is say the entire fleet, or you could say the Navy, and then you have squadrons. The fleet would be the Navy, and so you have squadrons. You have a squadron commander, and then you have a fleet commander, or which is the admiral, and then you have no, you have a captain and the admiral, and then who has the commodore. Okay. Okay. So that's an interesting development. Okay. Pencil, eraser, whiteout, pen. Okay. So for basic, okay, I'm reorganizing stuff here. I'm reorganizing the data. So it's the So basically I'm going to go down the list of the monster list within the basic and expert. So first one mentioned, and then so these are basically alphabetical orders. Bugbear is HD. HD3. So anything below a 4 plus, actually a level 4 would be a group leader. Because the tribe leader, the orc tribe leader, is would be a level 4, and a level 4 guy is not big enough. hit dice 4. So yeah, okay, we'll do that. So the leadership list is 1 plus to 4, and then org tribe leadership is 4 plus and higher. Anything higher than a 4 plus and higher. Anything higher than a level HD4 would be a tribe leader. HD4 and under would be a group leadership. So the next one on the list is hobgoblins. Now what I can do, then you got the NPC part, which is level 2 to level 4. I just got the list so I can just, what's important is their list. So HD1. So this, all I'm doing is listing the monsters. So they're not, there's no data here for the monsters. Additional data would be the environmental system for the monster listed. Oh God. And by my count, you have from the previous videos, I make an assumption that there's between 150 and 200 monsters listed in this book. Individual monsters. And these two, there's between 150 and 200 monsters in these two books together. So that means I'm going to have 200 environmental systems per monster. Okay, environmental monster list. So there's going to be 200 of these, maybe. Well, at the end, once the campaign set is completely filled out, for this creation, I'm right now creating a game world environment for a level 1 character. So he's going to be encountering the wilderness zone that he is in is going to be HD under 1, HD 1, HD 1 plus. Monster levels 2 and higher is not the environmental setting of this campaign setting that I'm creating at this time. But level 2 and higher monsters will be part of the ecology based on the hit dice -1, hit dice 1, hit dice 1 plus monsters for the level 1 character. So I'm not going to be in this the process I'm going through. I'm not going to end up with 200 environmental systems for monsters. A monster environmental system. I may end up with like 50. Okay. Let's see here. Noble basic. HD 3. So right now, the player character would probably encounter Hobgoblin with an orc army, a group of orcs with, you know, running around causing chaos. NPC basic. Okay, here is the deal on the NPC party that I am confronted with. NPC parties are based on the player character classes. And each player character class has its own set of hit dice. Fighters, dwarves have 1d8 hit points, so they are equivalent to a level 1 monster. Clerics, elves, and halflings have d6, so they are under 1 HD monsters. But, okay, well, and then, I'm going to list the exceptions here. Then you have the magic users and the thieves, and they're 1d4 hit points, so they are under 1 hit dice monsters. Now, with player characters, you can have constitution bonuses and penalties. So, a fighter, a dwarf or a fighter, with a -1 or a -2 or a -3 constitution bonus penalties would be less than 1 HD monster, would be HD under 1 monster. A fighter, a dwarf, or half dwarf or a fighter with a constitution of +1, +2, or +3 would be an HD 1+ monster. Would be equivalent to HD 1+ monster. Likewise, clerics, elves, and halflings with D6 with a +2 constitution would be equivalent to a 1d8 monster, a 1 hit dice monster. But a +3 constitution would be equivalent to a HD 1+ monster. Magic users and thieves with a +3 constitution gets a maximum of 7 hit points, and so are classified as an under 1 monster, under 1 HD monster. Now you have on here a medium. One plus 2 asterisks, 1 with 2 asterisks, and so it's a HD1. So your non-player character medians are 1 HD monster, which is, and they are basically level 1 magic users. So they have double hit points of what your player character magic user will have. On top of that, basic, they would have our level 1, okay, medians are first level NPC magic users. There is a 50% chance that minions will be accompanied by their master, a third level magic user. Mediums will each have one level 1 spell, which the DM may choose or randomly determine. The third level magic user will have 2 level 1 spells and 1 second level 1 spell chosen in a similar manner. So, and then let's see here. Let's go look at halflings. HD1 -1. Elves. HD1 +1 with an asterisk. And dwarf. HD1. Dwarves are neutral, all form neutral. Well, player character dwarves could be chaotic. Player character elves could be chaotic. Player character and halflings are lawful. Player character halflings could be chaotic. Okay, I'm trying to verify this for the basic rules. The alignments give guidelines for characters to live by. Characters try to follow these guidelines but may not always be successful. If the Dungeon Master feels that the player is not keeping to the character's chosen alignment, the Dungeon Master may suggest a change of alignment or give the character a punishment or penalty. Punishment or penalty could include, sorry, those experience points you ain't getting. Those experience points you earned during the adventure, you ain't getting any of those. You got 0 experience points for this adventure. And that includes experience points from treasures. And 3/4 of the experience points earned in this game system is treasure experience points. So, yeah. You can have really evil dungeon master. I had evil dungeon masters, and I had played against evil players. So yeah, my group experience D&D. Well, my group experience is not with this. I solo played this. Well, me and my brother back in '82, we played this together. Dad played a session with us also. He didn't like the game system. Mom was going to game master us. We got this in 1980, and we came back from Wisconsin in 1980. from the summer vacation. She promised to game Dungeon Master us. Never happened. In 1982, we got the rules back from her, and my brother and I started playing with each other. And we convinced Dad to do a same game session with us. In 1983, some of Tom's friends was Tom learned that some of his friends was playing Dungeons and Dragons, and a guy from his friend group came over with a Fire Lord, fire deity from the African tribe. I think African mythology, and because the deities, demigods had the African mythology, Legends of Lords does not, and he laughed at us, and then we eventually got involved with AD&D, and we got the Dungeon Master Guide, and he got a player's handbook, and I got a player's handbook, and we started group playing. And so we group played AD&D between 1983 and 1986. My brother fell out of interest in 1984 and 85 time period, and I dove into hardcore, and that's when I created the Korean War campaign for this game system, and the Ancient Earth campaign for the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons campaign. And my brother in 85, we got, I think it was in 85 actually, we bought Traveler, Science Fiction, Adventure in the Far Future together, because we wanted to customize our own, scratch design our own spaceships in our space sci-fi genre, and that's the only system that we could find without purchasing outright, then cracking open. Oh, we can't do this. So based on the cover book, we got that. Some of our AD&D members, play group members, had Star Trek role-playing game, the first edition. Some of them had Marvel Superheroes, first edition, the 10 combat books. Some of them had Gamma World. My brother got out of it. After my brother got out of RPGing, I group played with some of the AD&D guys had Traveler and Star Frontiers, and I group played with them a little bit. But what they did was they used the Star Frontiers character generation rules and character gameplay mechanics, and then they added the Traveler spaceship design rules and the Traveler spaceship combat to blended those, and that's how we did that. So there was skills and stuff, mechanics from the Traveler that was adopted to the Star Frontiers game, or they just cut and pasted. I don't think they did any really game system conversion mechanics, because the Traveler was a 2d6 system basically, and it's a 2d6 based on the attributes, but you could end up rolling 4d6, 8 to 10d6, whatever, due to weapons and armor and stuff like that. Star Frontiers was a percentile system, 2d10, and the numbers generated was from 00 to 100, or 01 to 100, or 0 to 99. I got to look at I forget. But it was a percentile system. And so the 2d6 and the percentile dice rolls were two different things. I don't think they actually made the effort to do the conversion of the 2d6 skill rolls to the percentile dice rolls. And then the skill levels, you had the skill levels 1 through 6 with the thing. I forget how Star Frontiers did skill levels. It's been decades. It's been since, yeah, 1980s since I cracked open the Star Frontiers game system. So yeah, that's 40 years ago. It's been 40 years since I looked at Star Frontiers. So let's get back to monster lists. Where's my pencil? Okay. And when I moved to San Antonio in June of '86, I basically was sold RPG until 1995, when I was introduced to Champions, the super role-playing game. But yeah, again, the play group were social enemies that was messing with my head. Okay, so I do not have a lot of RPG good experiences when it comes to RPG, group playing RPG. Wrong monster list. There it is. NPC party. Basic. Ogre. HD. Four plus one. That's not in there. That's modified. Oh, he's in the orc tribe. That's one of the changes that's being made. Correction. Let's see. So the orcs go bye-bye. You have shadow. So it's a 2 plus 2. Then you have a veteran. Two, 3. Yeah, okay, the veteran. It says here in the veteran descriptions, the level veterans are low-level fighters, usually returning from or going to war. To determine each veteran's level and alignment, use the method outlined. Okay, this is in a hit dice. Using and creating an NPC party. A party of veterans may be of mixed levels and alignments, or the DM may have all members the same level. So you can. Okay. The players and so you can have same levels but different alignments, different levels, same alignments, same levels, same alignments, different levels, different alignments for veterans. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. For chaotic leaders, they have to be level 2 or higher. Because of the chaotic leadership needs to be at higher, 1+. So, now what I can, now what you can do is give these guys player character attributes, and then say he has +1 Constitution, whatever, or ± Constitution. So he's not a he's a 1+ veteran. So I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. And some game systems, some RPG systems will allow are better set up for NPCs having the same attributes as the player characters than what Dungeons and Dragons does. You can do that, but there's more effort. The game master has to take in the effort to do that. Has to fudge the rules, whatever. Gotta go, so then now we go to experts. And so for the expert rules, we have beginnermans and we have pirates. A begin HD2 20 less begins. Okay, let's do that. X begin level 4. Okay, the orc is level 4, so he's not going to listen to level 4 chieftain. He's not going to listen to a level 4 monster. So, but an orc party will listen to a level 4 chaotic leader. The orc leader, tribe leader says, "Oh, you're level 4. Okay, you can command these group. You can command this party group here." Which is 40 less begins. I'm gonna make sure that I don't want to be 4 less begins. And we now have pirates. Ooh. No. Yeah, because they're not going to listen to. I said HD1 here. That's also wrong. Orcs are not going to listen to a level 1 human. They would rather fight the humans than, oh, you think you're bigger than me? Come on, take me on. Let's do this. You know. You got lucky this time. I'll get you next time. You know. You think you're so bad? You know. Next time around, aha. You think you're so bad? I got your ass, man. Okay, that's. Okay, pirate level 4. X. Pirate. HD. 4. Again, with the. Since the pirates are level 1 HD, you got a huge party of pirates that don't have that leadership. We're not going to listen to you. You got to be bigger and badder than us before we do anything for you. Okay. So that's the orc group leadership. And now, because we got all of this data, okay, we finished this off, we finished that off, and we finished that off. Okay, so now we're going to make the orc tribe leadership lists, and that's going to be huge monstrosity, so we're just going to go on the back side. And we're going to do the list. Okay. Now, I've been doing this heading system since high school. How I'm doing this. Action High School, I had two different methods for listing pages. And this is the most common method that I've been using. Do that. And I am 6 years old, so I've been doing this since 40 plus years. 45 years. Wait. 1980? Yeah, 86. There's been moved to San Antonio, 86. That's 4 years ago, plus 5. 45 years. That was age 20 when I moved to San Antonio. And so I've been doing this since I was age 15. The numbering system, which is approximate, is pretty accurate. So yeah, because around age 15, maybe 13, whatever. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Dungeons and Dragons. Dragons. RPG. I'm listening, saying what I'm doing, so yeah, you know, there's things happening here. And I'm going to show the text. RPG. I did a typo. Red Book Rules. Copyright 1980. Copyright 1980. Orc Army Chaotic Leadership. Alright, I'm not going to do leadership. Orc Army Chaotic Leaders. Actually, I need to do leaders. So let's do that. Oh, I did do that. I did put S there. Okay. Now, we have Orc Group Leader List, and now we got Orc Tribe Leader List. Now, basically, what the difference between an Orc Group leader list and an Orc Tribe leader list is, you got a group of orcs that have been subdued or are submissive to an orc leader. With an Orc Tribe leader list, the Orc Tribe chieftain has been subdued or is submissive to an orc leader. So what the orc tribe, the orc chieftains will command his group, the orc groups, according to the whims of according to the commands of the Orc Tribe leader, chaotic leader. You know, what I call the Orc Tribe chaotic leader. The chaotic leader that leads the that commands the Orc Tribe chieftain, and the Orc Tribe chieftain. Okay, we're going to do this because I say so, and I'm doing this because he says so. And so that's the main difference between these two leader lists. And let's see here, Ogre is a basic. So all these other NPCs are experts. So we have an ogre, this is an HD4 +1. Now having these HD listed will help determine, you know, which environment would be suitable, or you know, which group would be suitable for the player character group. Then we have X. Fire Giant. Okay, Fire Giant. Is knowing what all the noise is about. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this, you know, with this paper slide over here, and trying to do this, and I gotta go over here, and then I just do that. So I just folded this up. So that's what all that noise was about. Fire Giant. HD11 plus 2. And as you see on this, on this old list, I put the basic X, you know, the set, the rule book that came from, on the back, and I just put it up on front where it's easier to find. And this, you know, it's more uniform. Everything is basically the same on it here, so you're not going, ooh, where is everything? So now we have Begin Mans. Okay, this is level orcs are not going to listen to level 1 guys, so that's out. Let's see here now. You have a brigade camp leader. Okay, that's level 9, level 5. Here's the brigade camp. HD5. Uh, 50 less begins. Min. Okay, and then we have brigade camp. HD9. Let's do this again. That's Buccaneers. Often band together, fortified camps of 50 to 300 men. They will, the camp will always be led by a 9th level fighter, with an additional 5th level fighter for every begins. Camp leader. Okay. Okay, there you go. Now, so we got that taken care of. We got that taken care of. Now, because I folded the paper, it's not behaving very well. Okay, let's see here. Ex-pirate. Featured as pirates. Alright, let's just do men. Because that's what they are, they're men. Okay, pirate. So we can say, okay, and if you go on here, men, number of ships, okay, 30 to 50 down here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so you can have. Wait a minute. Oh, that's the wrong list. That's the right list. Okay, you have 30 to 50. This says pirate buccaneers, but I'm going to say pirates here because they're pretty much the same thing. They say buccaneers, but this also applies to pirates. So yeah, 30 to 50 pirates, which for 1 to 4 longships, and then you have 40 to 80 pirates sailed warships. You can say now. Then you go over here, longships and warships. You go back into the venture section. I haven't looked at this section in a long time. Ships. Okay, miles, fleet, rowers, sailors, marines. Okay, long ships. You have no rowers. You got 75 sailors. These also act as rowers and marines. Okay. First rule is an exception. Large, small. Ooh. Warships only. Okay. Double. Okay. Warships only cost an additional 1/4 original. So you can have a large sailing ship with 20 sailors and 50 marines. You can have a small sailing ship, warship, with 10 sailors and 25 marines. So we go back over here. $40 to $80. So this max out at 80. A large sailing fleet of pirates would have 4 large ships. Small ships would have 8. Assuming pirates. Pirates would be sailors and marines. So you would have 70 crew. So you have 70 crew for one large sailing ship. 35 crew for a small sailing. So for 80 sailors, you'd have 2 small sailing ships, warships. So you can say that the sailors that are the pirates and stuff that are encountered okay, that's a special for buccaneers and pirates. You can say, okay, so 1 to 4 long ships, that would be 30 to 50 men. How do you want to do that? So a long ship can have 75 sailors. Per long ship? 75 per long ship? If I remember my TV documentaries on Vikings, they can have the Viking longship. You can have small ones, you can have large ones. Small ones would have maybe like 35 sailors. Maybe 20 or something. 20 to 35 sailors or something like that. 10 per side, 20 per side. maybe not 20. That would be small, having 10 centimeters per side, doing growing. So there would be about 20 per side, so that'd be like 40. Between 30 and 40 would be on a small long ship. Okay, that's okay. That's going beyond what I'm going to do on this, my first adventure. So, keep track of what I'm doing here. Oh, that went nice. Okay, X power. I'm going to make sure you saw the tables. Oh. And then you have that. Okay. Again, this is going to be beyond the scope of this, my first adventure, but this is part of the campaign world creation system. Campaign world generation system. So, HD8 for 100 or less men. Pirate. What I'm doing is just moving the text a little bit further away from the hit dice data. I want over here. Separation. And then this is per fleet. Then this is Let's okay, and then we go over here. NPC party. Maybe the NPC party hired a group of orcs. Well, actually, the basic party would hire a group of orcs to accompany them. And then this group would be hiring the orc chieftain to accompany, his tribe accompany them. So we'd have high-level NPC party with an army of orcs following them. And then we have the vampire. HD 7 ... to 9 ... and that's everything. So this can go bye-bye. So now, with this campaign world has a lot of possibilities in terms of how the orcs are organized. Let's see here. This is taken care of. Now I need the microbial army list. So yeah, this was this orc art was part of my original paperwork, but I got replaced, so it's gone bye-bye. And these are eventually going to have the same fate. But right now they're useful. Once they're no longer useful, they're going to go bye-bye. They're going to get thrown away. Let's see how much time we have left. We got 2 hours. Okay. Let's see here. Now we need to do the microbial. Now I damaged the microbial paperwork yesterday, last night, in my last video session. And then Tezi chewed on it, clawed at it earlier in the session. That's why I threw her out. I did not want her damaging any other paperwork. And luckily it was just this one that got damaged, not the others. So, but yeah, because it's all folded and stuff, it's, you know, it's going to cause problems. So, now compared to the, now some of the life form some of these life form monster lists are part of the original collection, are part of the original, what I call the original paperwork. And then I switched modes with the game parameters and the world parameters. And okay, then I said, okay, I'm just going to finish off the monster list collection, life form monster list. And then I went and continued on with repeating this data, but using the environmental systems format, monster list format for the environmental system with the nocturnal monsters. We got an environmental system for the giant vampire bats. I got one for the, that's the army list that completed. There's a normal bat environmental system list, and this is the vampire environmental system thing. So there's but the original, some of these originals are going to stay. Which ones are the originals? The humanoid monster list, the human monster list, and the dead monster were part of the original. Then I started getting, that's when I started switching to doing this, then reorganizing myself. So this is the thumbnail image that I'm using. I no longer have a smart tablet. My tablet died. I don't have a computer system, desktop, laptop computer system, so I can't do it video recording. I have on my smartphone that I'm using as a camera phone right now a text app called Notepad Free. I love it. It's excellent for the Android OS tablet mobile devices. And so I created a Notepad free version of this 4-page monster list, and or the original nocturnal monster list, and then I just went. So so I listed I have the normal bat. Let's just see this. So I put this information down on the notepad free, and what I was doing was not that. Correction, I'm wrong. I did it's a version of my -1 hit dice monster list. Actually, I made the text document that I did on the notepad free is a variation of the monster list here. The hit dice -1, hit dice 1, and hit dice +1 monsters. And what I did was the normal bat was the first one listed, and I listed the information that's on this monster list. Documents. Not the chaotic monster. Yeah, this monster list, the data that I have on here, I transferred to the hit dice monster list. Which I combined this with the hit dice monster list on my notepad free application. And so the thumbnail is a section that highlights some of the normal bat descriptions. And so all of that is part of this campaign. So every thumbnail on this campaign will feature that, because this is all part of that. So this is like version 3 of my campaign. D&D campaign project. Okay. Dungeons. And Dragons. RPG. Red. Book rules. Copyright 1980. And this is the microbial. Monsters. Basic. Janitor's cube. Or was on say in the original monster list, have HDHP data, and then as I was going through, and then so the undead is one of the originals. Then I started doing this list here, and there was no room for the HDs. I just, okay, whatever. And honestly, for this monster for these lists, that the hit dice doesn't really matter. It's just what matters is the environment, referencing how they're related to each other, what kind of environments they're in, basically. What kind of creatures, the life form types, and so then you can say, okay, for the freshwater, then you can categorize, how do you want to stock up the environment with freshwater creatures, saltwater creatures, winged creatures, insectoids, microbrials, and stuff like that. That's what that's what this is about. Gray ooze, basic, green slime, basic, green slime has a star on it, ochre jelly, okra jelly, that has a asterisk on it. Shrieker is a basic monster. Shrieker is a mushroom, and mushrooms are basically a fungi, a single cell, molecular. Oops. Where's my notes? Oh, it's my eraser. I don't need it at this time, I was just looking for it. Here it is. The other side has the zebra. So, what did I do? Okay, so again. Oh, I do need an eraser. My K is bad. I'm not very good at writing. I make a lot of writing errors. So the Oriental calligraphy ain't gonna happen, not with me. And yellow mold. And that is, come on, to ground. I'm not going to have her flying. A couple of others we do it, but not the entire yellow mode. So now we have, and then there's the back plume. Okay, and this can go back. 2:30. I think I got a 3-hour video time. So in the last video session, I went through the basic and expert rules. Looking at bats, specifically giant bats and vampire bats and undead and vampires. And to figure out how they are related to each other. And while looking at the vampire, I came up with 2 storyline gameplay scenarios. For the vampire. So, in one scenario, it says here, vampires. Okay, let's look at this. Oh, right here. Okay. So this paragraph. Not quite. Starting here. During the day, a vampire usually rests in its coffin, and failure to do so results in the loss of 2 to 12 hit points per day. These hit points will not be regenerated until the vampire has rested in its coffin for a full day. So, gameplay mechanic 1. Calculating how many hit points a vampire loses per day. Roll 2d6 at the beginning of the day and divide that by 12 hours of the day, which I'm going to assume is 8. And so for X amount of time, you divvy out the result, the 2d6 result, by 8, and so for X amount of time, the vampire will lose 1 hit point during that day. Then, to rest the full day, you got to rest 24 hours. The full day is 24 hours. So you roll 2d6 for resting, and you divide that result by 24. For every amount of time that the vampire rests in that 24 power, there's an X amount of the result is hit points per time period. For every time period that the vampire rests, he gets 1 hit point returned. The storyline that I came up with, and I was kind of wrong about it, is that, okay, vampire during the daytime lose 12 hit points during an 8-hour period. Oh man, and then I said, oh, I'm feeling good. Yesterday I said, oh, I'm feeling good. But no, he'd be, oh man, I'm feeling, this is, this is bad. I'm not feeling too good after this. Then I said he wrote a 2 for 24 hours of rest. So he's in the coffin. I felt terrible, absolutely. And so now, after 24 hours, he only has 2 hit points instead of the. He only recovered 2 of his 12 hit points. So he needs to roll another 24 hours, 2d6, for recovering the loss that he had of the 12 hit points that he lost the first day. Cruel, cruel, cruel. Yeah. Yeah. Game Master can get very nasty and very cruel. And that could be an interesting story. Actually, and that could be an interesting storyline. Gameplay results in interesting storyline gameplay. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be describing that mechanic here. And the other one, and the other thing I came up with is the local vampire. There's a locality has a vampire, but the villagers, the humans within that locality, view the vampire as being a rare bat and not as a vampire. Now, a rare bat does not exist within the game D&D, the basic expert rules system, but that is going to be a rumor storyline that I'm going to create here too. So I'm going to create 2 new documents, data documents concerning the vampire. One is the rare bat rumor, and the other is the hit points lost and regaining for being not resting, for being outside, not outside. If he was outside in the sun, he'd get disintegrated. Yeah, he has to do a saving throw for that. But he's indoors, but during the daytime, he's going to be losing hit points. And then for every 24-hour rest, he's going to be gaining hit points. And what I've done is I'm creating a game mechanics where you're doing increments for that time period. During the 8-hour daytime while awake, he's going to lose. There's increments in which he's losing hit points, and then during the 24 hours, there'll be increments in where he's actually gaining hit points. So I'm doing that game mechanic, and I'm doing that's what I'm going to do now. Okay. Dungeons. And Dragons. RPG. Red book, not basic rules. So we do that. I did a typo. I love typewriters. And even back in my pre-K years, before I was in preschool, I love typewriters. My parents My mom had a manual IBM Selectric, and I think my mom's mom had IBM manual Selectric. And they tried to teach. They said they tried to teach me the proper technique, go like this, and then and then push down. And I could not push down. It was too hard. I had to actually take a finger and bam, 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 bam to get it to type. And so, but put a paper in there and the typewriter. Hit that key. You hear the key going down. You hear the arm coming up. You hear that arm hitting the roller, the paper. And you see the result. The thing, you got the black ribbon that goes between the paper, and you see the result. If you hit it strong enough, you got a nice black ink print. If you didn't hit it strong enough, it's a grayish or non-existent. It didn't even hit the thing, but you hear the noise of the key press, the arm going up towards the roller, hitting the roller and not hitting the roller, and then coming back, and then seeing that all of that was like, yeah, I loved it. I've always loved, and so I've always loved typewriters. During my high school years, copyright 1980. I learned about the typewriter. Maybe I learned it from the typewriting class. I took typing as an elective in the 12th grade. I had a semester. Didn't know what to do with it. Semester elective available, and I didn't know what to do, so I just took typing. Either that, or I was at home doing my own research, maybe reading up on typewriters or something. There's a life science library book called Machines. This thing, the Life Science Library collection, that my dad had that back in 1960. This is 67, 68, 60, the publications. I destroyed some of these books during my kindergarten years, so the collection is not complete anymore. This talks about inventions like typewriters and whatever. So maybe I read it in here. The cotton gin cannon, or this is actually a cannon, artillery piece, and so all kinds of stuff. Either there, or maybe I saw it, I don't know, during my high school years. Maybe there's a documentary during my high school years called How It Works. I got the book, and the guy may have talked about the typewriter, the invention of the typewriter, and basically what I understand is the guy had a daughter who was left-handed. I'm a lefty, proud of it. There's advantages and disadvantages, as with everything. There's advantages and disadvantages of being right-handed, but you live in a world that's dominated by 90% right-handers. What are the disadvantages? So the daughter had problem writing. Left-handers do. Spencer, Wisconsin. I lived in Spencer, Wisconsin in the late 70s. I was in Minneapolis in 1972, 1975. Fourth grade was 1976 in Hallway. I went to Medford Middle School. I had speech impairment. And then 77, 78, I was in Spencer, Wisconsin. Teachers were trying to get me to write right-handed, and I can't do that. And then, oh, you're doing like, you got to write like this. And I can't do that. And that hurts. I just mirror, you know. So the left-handers I grew up with, it was like this, or like we're writing it like this, or like this. They did not do it like this. Now, I started using, I took technical drafting in high school in 9th grade, or correction. 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Because 9th grade I took PE and Oh yeah, I was in band between 6th grade and 8th grade. I took up band when I was in Spencer, Wisconsin. Then I quit band after I moved to Victoria and went to so in 8th grade I was in band in Victoria. So in 9th grade I took up technical drafting. 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. In the 12th grade, I took typing because I had no other lectures to play with. I forgive my typing class was a 1 year, was a full year or a semester. It was optional. So the thing is, I moved around a lot. Even in Indianapolis, Indiana, teachers were trying to get me to do this. I said no, and I was a stubborn son of a bitch as a kid. It was like, nope. If I said no and I meant it, it's like, no. If I did something wrong and I don't think I did anything wrong, I'm not going to apologize for it. But if I did something wrong and I knew it I did wrong, I will apologize, and I'm sorry that happened, and I will apologize. But if I did something wrong intentionally, I'm not going to apologize for it, So I was one stubborn SOB, and so I did this. I wrote like this. I've always was like this. I tried to go like this, but when watching right-handers explain it, doing things, I just mirror image, and so, and right-handers get thrown by that, by the mirror image thing. But yeah, I grew, every left-hander I knew down my 1st grade through 12th grade, they were either like this or they were like this. None of them was doing this. So, so back to the lady. She's left-handed, was having problems writing, so he created a typewriter so she can write. So the typewriter was originally designed for left-handed people. The letters arrangement is basically for a left-hander. Now, since then, they've made some changes. Different companies did different things, whatever. But yeah, I grew up IBM Selectrics, manual. then Selectric 1, Selectric 2, and Selectric 3. I type best on IBM Selectrics. So keyboards, whatever, computer keyboards, laptop keyboards, desktop keyboards, other typewriters. I've been on Royals. I've been on the what's the other one? The C one. There's like there are 3 or 4 popular brands back in the 1980s. And I did not type as well, as I'd made more mistakes on those typewriters than I did on the IBM Selectric typewriters. So that's where the typewriter is. The typewriters are designed for left-handers, which is part of why I love typewriters. So now this is going to be campaign adventure rumors. Campaign rumor notes. Okay, yeah, let's do campaign rumor notes. Campaign rumor notes. Local villagers misidentify a local vampire as being a werebat beacon smoke. Do the easy stuff first, then they do complex stuff later. So now we're at 2:44. I think I got 15 minutes. Maybe a little bit more before it cuts out. Okay, let's just make the data sheet and then we'll end it there, and then continue on. Vampire mechanics. So this is going to, this information is going to be all part of the campaign world reference materials that Dungeon Master created. Reference materials, campaign reference materials. Which is basically similar to the reference books of the Royal Greyhawk. Volume 1 and Volume 5, talking about stuff, various aspects, science, technology, ecology, life form evolutions, and stuff like that. Dungeons and Dragons. N. Dragons. R. P. Now the rumors is not going to be part of the vampire, even though this particular room is a vampire, it's not part of the vampire mechanics, because vampire mechanics is dealing with the dice rolls, and maybe theories of vampire, like, let me finish this off, now because I'm getting a little too scatterbrained here. Red book rules. Red. Come on, do it right. Book. Rules. Copyright 1980. Vampire mechanics. Now, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when it comes to vampire mechanics, and I'm just going to describe what I'm doing here, what I'm thinking. Then I'm going to end this video session, and I'm going to continue on. The next video session is going to be working on the vampire mechanics. But as like I said, some of this I mentioned in the previous video concerning the vampire, but the vampire mechanics would be like the vampire, or as I described earlier, the hit points gain and loss and gain loss due to being awake during the daytime, and recovery, sleeping for 24 hours. Another vampire mechanics would be which was discussed in the last session. A vampire may take the form of a human, a direwolf, a giant bat, or a gaseous cloud at will. So the basic rules, as discussed in the previous session and the session before that. The vampire, okay, so it says here, right, 5% of all giant bat encounters will be groups of giant vampire bats. The bite of a giant vampire bat does no extra damage, but its victims must save versus paralysis or fall unconscious for 1 to 10 rounds. This will allow the vampire bat to feed without being disturbed, draining 1 to 4 hit points of blood per round. Any victim who dies from having his or her blood drained by a giant vampire bat must save versus spells or become an undead creature 24 hours after death. If D&D expert rules are used, this may be a vampire. So as I was saying in the previous video sessions, that the undead, the person that was killed, is a vampire, or the vampire bat is a vampire. So the vampire bat, when so if the expert rules are not used, that's the expert rules are being used, the undead may or may not be a vampire, may be some other types of undead. And that's what this was about. So, generated undead by the giant vampire could be a ghoul and could be a white. X, I'm going to add, could be an X vampire. Okay, let's do that. Now, I did not add this on there because I was thinking that this vampire would be from the expert rules. Would apply to the vampires from, and not apply to the vampire, the basic rules vampire. But I decided I'm going to add the vampire to this because there's a gray zone as to what they're actually saying there. When you're dealing with head fuckers as much as I have, that level of explicitness needs to be defined. Also, if you're a technical engineer, like an aerospace engineer or naval architect, whatever, specificity is very much a thing. Terminology means, terminology is everything. You want to use correct terminology, you want to use, for stuff. So, my dad is a hydraulic engineer. He had a bachelor's degree in hydraulics. But genetically I look like his family. My brother genetically looks like my mom's family. So I have my dad's genes, which is very strict, OCC, OOC, OCC, obsessive compulsive, whatever. OOC is out of character. OC, complex. Obsessive compulsive complex. Or OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. OCC would be the 1970s terminology, or maybe 50s, 40s, 30s terminologies. I don't know. Whatever. Medical terminologies, like, again. Yeah, whatever. So, So I'm going to start working on the next video sessions. It's going to be about the vampire mechanics that I've mentioned in this video, and in the last video, and in the previous video, and my other previous videos. So, bye-bye.